Viewers, I will come straight to the point tonight. So please give me all your attention. Can a country be truly called secular when religious laws of a few denominations are allowed to hold sway over and above the Constitution? Can, for instance, men of one community be allowed to marry 4 women because their religion allows it, whereas the practice is banned for men of all other communities? Would such exceptionalism on religious grounds be tolerated in a truly secular country where the state maintains an equal distance from all faiths? If the answer is no, then why would anyone have a problem with a reform that looks to put an end to such inequality? But you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised to know that people do. Indeed, a massive controversy is raging in Assam as we speak because the Chief Minister there has decided to scrap a law that allowed Muslim men to marry young girls without their consent. And also halt a tradition wherein Muslim legislators were allowed to take a double Friday namaz break in the State Assembly. The reforms follow in the wake of the Chief Minister, Himanta Biswa Sarma, declaring he would never allow, quote, Mia Muslim takeover, unquote, of Assam. Now let me break down the decisions for you. So the 2-hour namaz break on Fridays in the Assam Assembly will end. The Chief Minister says this will prioritize productivity and shed the colonial baggage because this particular practice was introduced in 1937 by Muslim League's Sayyid Sadullah. The proposal was first presented by Speaker Biswajit Daimari. The Rules Committee unanimously agreed to drop the rule, but viewers, despite the unanimous go ahead, the AIUDF, a sectarian party in Assam belonging to Mr. Ajmal, has objected to the move, saying, quote, Muslim community is being targeted, unquote. In Bihar, Tejasvi Yadav has come out and said that these laws are being passed to specifically target Muslims because they are soft targets. Now, over the last few years, the Chief Minister has made it clear that he intends to make a clear break between state and religion in Assam. Towards this end, he has been pursuing what he describes as a reform agenda. Here are some big moves made by the Chief Minister in the name of what he calls is hard secularism. And let me walk you through some of these moves, viewers. A bill was passed to abolish a 89-year-old Assam Muslim Marriages and Divorce Registration Act and Rules of 1935. The law will make it illegal for qazis to officiate marriages or for children to be married. The Chief Minister has declared that Assam will be the 3rd state to introduce the UCC. However, tribal communities will be exempt from the UCC. In July 2022, Assam Chief Minister announced he would introduce a law to prohibit polygamy, citing the need to protect women's rights and promote gender equality. Madrasa reform undertaken by merging these religious schools with the General Education Board. Students now exposed to science, mathematics and computer science. His state government launched the, quote, Mission Mrityunjay, unquote, to prevent child marriages across religions and regulate the age of marriage in the state across religions. Established a department to promote and give equal importance to Assam's indigenous faith and culture. Not just this, viewers. It's not just, Muslim customs that are being targeted or that are being reformed. Let me tell you, viewers, that the State Chief Minister will also bring in laws to regulate Hindu marriages, making registration of Hindu marriages also compulsory. The idea is of the entire exercise is to prevent child marriages and ensure women's rights across the board. Additionally, the Assam government has also decided to amend the Hindu Succession Act to ensure equal property rights for Hindu women. And as I told you, there has been an additional commitment to introduce a uniform civil code, which means that all religious exceptionalism guaranteed by personal laws would be gone. So I fail to understand how this is, in fact, something targeting only one community because they are soft targets, so to speak. Viewers, why is there such a resistance to hard secularism in this country? Why should there be people claiming exception? And why is it that this tradition is continued for such a long period of time? Let's open this up. Let's ask some fundamental questions tonight, viewers. It's a very critical debate. Let's all be even-tempered. Sensitive issues. Let me begin with Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow of the IPCS. Tausif Khan is also there with us, advocate and a political analyst. Kamru Chaudhary, a political analyst. Rajat Sethi, a political analyst, will be joining us. But Mr. Iyer Mitra, put this into perspective. Why is there, first of all, this massive outcry? The Chief Minister has made it clear that he's actually going to be bringing in the UCC very soon. So any exceptionalism, any selective sort of targeting, etc., we won't, that'll just completely go out of the window. It'll fly in the face of the sort of propaganda. And secondly, why have these traditions existed so long in the first place? What's going on?
So first of all, thank you, Rahul. So first of all, we need to understand that, there is a prevention against child marriage, which comes under the criminal side of things, not under the civil side of things, at 18 years of age, right? It is a criminal offense. In spite of that, you recently had the Mumbai High Court in a judgment say that it was fine for a Muslim girl to be married off at 15, defying a criminal law. You see, this is where civil law starts interfering in criminal law, and that judgment has been put on hold and it is now in review in the Supreme Court. Okay, this is number one. Number two, we need to understand that even in Arabia, Saudi Arabia and the Emirates, the minimum age of marriage has been left at 18. All right, the same rules apply to everybody out there. The Indian Sunni, let's keep the Shias out of this, because the Shia Personal Law Board had abolished child marriage, triple talaq and all of that long back. The Sunni community out here is heavily feudalized. They are controlled by this bunch of very small obscurantists belonging to a few families. And in that sense, it's an almost exact replica kind of what happens in Pakistan. This is only Sunni society in India we're talking about. Now, what happens out here is their entire game plan is to keep the entire community backward, uneducated. So you start introducing computers and science and whatnot in the madrasa syllabus and give them funds for that. That is also Islamophobia. Saying that Muslim girls can only be married off at 18 is also Islamophobia. The UCC is written into the directive principles of the Indian Constitution. This is Baba Saheb Ambedkar wanted a uniform civil code. The directive principles of state policy is what? That the country should strive to achieve them at the earliest possible. Now, when it suits them, they will go to religion and say, our religion doesn't allow it. You tell me, where does the Quran or any of the Hadith say that 18 is too old for a girl to get married? We also need to remember in those days in late antiquity, life expectancy was around 36. So, the girl was married off when she was at the peak fecundity. That doesn't apply right now. Today, life expectancy is something like 72 to 76 in India, depending on the gender and region. So, this is not Islamophobia. This is anti-obscurantism. And so the feudal powers that be and the most backward obscurantist people among them who have self-appointed themselves as the spokespersons of that community find that it affects their power base the most. So they will find any reason, whatever reason, and claim Islamophobia for everything under the sun. Triple talaq also, if you remember, was counted as Islamophobia. Saudi Arabia doesn't have it. The Emirates doesn't have it. So what is the baseline principle? You're saying this is our religion, but people who are much more religious than you are saying that is not the principle. What is the principle out here? Just quote to me from the Quran and tell me where it says 18 is too old for a girl and a girl must be married off at 12, 13.
Okay, so let's open this up because Rajat Sethi is also there with us. Let me bring in Kamru Chaudhary Saab. He's, of course, a politician, active politician, knows this area very well. Mr. Chaudhary, what's the issue here? Why is the AUDF, why are the, so-called secular parties, quote unquote, so upset when someone is actually trying to bring uniformity and distance, really, the state from these religious exceptions? I mean, we should all be celebrating this.
Rahul, thank you. Good evening. Good evening to the fellow panelists.
Good evening,
and
sir.
all those watching this very important debate. Reform is a part of a society. The change is constant. There cannot be any debate on that. But the precedent that is there in Assam, I'll cite you. You may say this is as a reform, but I, having observed the Northeast politics and Assam politics, particularly over the last few decades, I call it as a first-class bigotry. And why I say this? Recently, the entire city of Guwahati was flooded because of the drains being clogged, or because of, despite a very huge Brahmaputra going by, the streets, people's houses were all flooded in the Guwahati city. And the Assam chief minister comes out with a very, very, a funny explanation to the people of Assam, and says that a university by the name of USTM located in the foothills of Meghalaya is responsible for the floods in Guwahati, and termed it as flood jihad. The reason being, the USTM chancellor is a Muslim with the name of Mahbubul Haq. That is the reasoning why I say this is not in isolation. Because when you say that child marriages should go, I accept the child marriages should go. There should not be any logic and justification by whatever sane-minded individual can say. Now compare this with what Himanta Biswa Sarma does not want to say in public domain. 84% of 12 million children married under the age of 10, under the age of 10 are Hindus, and only 11% of them were Muslims. Every minute 3 girls get married in India. And why I say, Rahul, that this Muslim marriages, that act that he brought in was not necessary, because over the year 2020, 21 and 2022-23, the instances of child marriages in Assam have reduced by 81%. The reason being, Himanta Biswa Sarma, and I praise him for that, had wielded the stick on all those practicing child marriages, and that was the way to go forward to bring about a reform in the society. You bring in dog whistling law, like the abolition of the Madrasa board, or you bring in the Vasundhara scheme where you distribute the pattas to only non-Muslims.
No, 1 second, Mr.
Wait
Chaudhary.
a minute, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish, sir, please. Then you brought in the Assam Cattle Preservation Act of 2021, whereas no cattle can be slaughtered within 5 kilometers of a mandir. Now yesterday you passed the Land and Revenue Regulation Bill, wherein you cannot own a plot of land within 5 kilometers of a heritage mandir. Heritage mandir within 5 kilometers, none of the Muslims can buy this property. That was the intent of the bill out here. When you cite such things, now when come to the namaz issue in this thing, you see 31 members in the 126 assembly, they are Muslims. And whether you like it or not, I am a practicing Muslim. And Jummah namaz is one namaz where you cannot offer the namaz at home. You have to go in a congregation. These 31 people, they will go. And let me just, with a limited 10 more seconds. In 1978, when 28 members of the Assam Assembly were Muslims, then started the real dog whistling, and we saw the massacre of the 80s.
I think we're being a little loose now with our interpretations, Mr. Chaudhary. You talk about some flood jihad. I mean, look, we are not here sitting there endorsing every word that comes out of Himanta Biswa Sarma's mouth. I am talking about the steps that have been taken today, and I can't find any reason to fault them. I mean, intent is clear. You talked about madrasas. Well, Sanskrit tolls in Assam are being closed for the same reason, because the education there is not progressive according to the chief minister. So he's even closing them down. In fact,
you back that with
one
data.
second.
I accept
One second.
it.
No. So
Why did you give out the data on the child marriages in Assam?
No. I'll tell you. 19% you said child marriages are still taking place. That means 19% of children in Assam, girl children.
81% has been the reduction.
Yes, so 19% are still there happening, right? Or maybe more. I don't know. So I'm just saying, viewers, that why should even one girl child be forced into some sort of a union like this?
So that's a problem
One
that
second.
exists
So
with the Hindu community.
We are
That
addressing it
problem
all
exists
across,
with
isn't
the-
it? I knew you would bring
should be
this up, so I
addressing,
did
but
my
he
research
started-
and I came in.
That's what I said.
No, so
This
he's
was
also
not-
brought in,
Sorry.
look, I mean, Himachal Pradesh, for example, and this is the duplicity of the Congress. Very quickly, I'll come to you, Mr. Iyer, and I'll also bring in the others. Very quickly, viewers, you know, when the bill was brought to rationalize ages, at the center, the Congress objected. Now, in Himachal Pradesh, they are passing the same bill. Himachal Pradesh has taken this significant step over the last 48 hours towards gender equality by raising the minimum legal age of marriage for women from 18 to 21, in fact. So, in their state, they are fine to do it. But when you move the lens and you examine the Congress's track record, you see it's inconsistent, because when they wanted to do it as a union law, they had a problem. Why, viewers? Because it would have affected certain communities, which is their vote bank. In Himachal, it's not such a big.
Rahul, that I was
In
saying,
Himachal,
that
it's not such
the
a big
fact.
vote bank, so it's
not
okay.
A fact. Just a
No, come,
bringing
let's
out,
not.
cooking
Look,
up
you
some
can
data
hardly speak here,
and-
sir,
and vilify
when the
and
Congress has
vilify a
even gone
particular
back on
community.
Shah Banu
That's the-
judgment. I mean, we know the antecedents of the
Supreme
Congress,
Court
so why are we
upheld in
hiding?
2001.
Okay, 1 minute.
2001, the Supreme Court ruled on that Shah Banu judgment.
1 second. Let me bring in Iyer Mitra ji. He's raising his hand. Yes, Mr. Mitra, go ahead.
Just very quick points, because there's deliberate misinformation being spread out here, Rahul. The child marriage provision has been extended out here very specifically because of the Mumbai High Court holding the fact that Muslims are exempt from it through whatever obscurantist reading
that's
that the
another-
Mumbai High Court.
Mumbai High
Number
Court
one.
judgment is under
Number
supervision
one.
of the
Come, I
Supreme Court.
interrupt you. Please
The
don't
Supreme
interrupt
Court
me.
is
I
looking into the-
I
Don't
did
speak
not-
over people. You can respond. I'm not going to stop you, Mr. Chaudhary. You know this.
Second.
Yeah.
Second, Kamru is right when he says it is the Jummah prayer has to be a congregation. 36 MLAs, Rahul, is a congregation. You see, they can go to a room outside and a Jummah prayer can be as short as 15 minutes. Nobody is preventing them from going outside for 15 minutes. 36 is a congregation. That is a congregation right there. Okay. So there is no provision in the Quran or the Hadith that you have to go to only this mosque and have it only under this preacher and do it only with your family. Any congregation is where you have to go for the Jummah prayer. They
And
can
it's
do
quite
it
clear.
round-
If the
right
Muslim
up-
League sort of brought it in, we know what the Muslim League's trajectory has been. So let's not kid ourselves. 1 second. Let me just bring in the others also, Mr. Chaudhary. Let's not just
20
reduce it.
seconds on the Bombay High Court judgment.
I'll bring you in, no problem. Rajat Sethi is there, and so is Tausif Khan. Mr. Tausif Khan, where do you weigh in on this? And Rajat Sethi, please be ready to respond to him. Yes, Tausif Khan.
Rahul, see, Himanta Biswa Sarma is only attempting to bluff people and bluff a person even like you, and I'm surprised that he is able to bluff you today.
Okay.
Himanta Biswa Sarma is saying that his intention is to abolish Child Marriages Act. But there is already a law, the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, which says that a child marriage is a crime and a male below 21 years, female below 18 years. The age limit is already there. This law is there from centuries. The age bar has been increased from time to time, last being in 2006, when the age bar is what I've said. Now, Himanta Biswa Sarma is saying that I want to bring reform. Now, what if we are in a democracy? What does it mean? The law should be given by the people upon themselves instead of someone imposing law on a targeted population for their own political dubious reasons. This is not a demand from the community.
Right.
Here a specific act for Muslim marriages is being passed, where Qazi has been made redundant and marriages have to be registered by the registrar. That's what they are effectively doing.
Okay.
And then
So
they
you
are
saying
bluffing
that
people.
there should be-
People said this is an abolition of child marriage. But this is already a law
Okay,
for
just so
abolition
it should
of
be
child
organic.
marriage.
You're
Who is he
saying
trying
that
to bluff?
the state should not interfere. They should not be pushing social reform. By that yardstick, viewers, can you imagine? We would have had untouchability continuously in our country today. We would have had sati. We would have had dowry. We would have had all sorts of.
He is saying
No,
he's
one
not
second, triple
interfering with
talaq,
Muslim
all
personal
sorts
law.
of.
No,
one
I am
second, all
quoting
sorts of-
Himanta Sarma.
No, I'm only saying
I'm
you
quoting
made the
Himanta
point.
Sarma.
Okay, one second.
That
Let me
he
bring in
has
Rajat
said,
Sethi.
just 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Himanta Biswa Sarma himself is saying that I am not interfering with Muslim personal law. Right? He has no intention. His only intention is to abolish the child marriage. Why is he being so kind to Muslim population and not extending the same law to other population?
But he has.
People
Of course he has.
other
Of course he
denominations?
has. Of
And
course he
secondly,
has.
who is he bluffing?
No, of course
Secondly,
he
who is he
has.
bluffing? There is already a law.
No, you
Baba,
haven't.
there is already
you
a law.
haven't looked. Let me
Is
bring in.
Assam not
Okay,
part
on
of
that
the
point.
India?
On that
Is
point.
Assam not part of the territory of
Wonderful.
India?
On that point,
That
let
the
me bring
Indian
in.
Parliament law will not apply in Assam. Who
On
is he
that
bluffing?
point, let me bring in Rajat Sethi. Yes, Mr. Sethi. Go ahead. Respond to the
Tawseef,
advocate,
I will
Mr.
respond
Khan.
to Tawseef.
Yeah.
Tawseef, it's a very well-functioning democracy, and every nook and corner of our country is a well-functioning democracy. And unfortunately, or fortunately for you, this is not Saudi Arabia, wherein a king sort of comes in and decides what the rules and regulations are going to be. We have a structure wherein the voices of the people and Assam's people have repeatedly voiced over the past 10 years or so what they want what do they expect from their legislatures, and the legislature has therefore spoken. And they have spoken in no uncertain terms that any kind of discriminatory practices will not carry on. If you want to follow secularism, follow it in the letter and spirit of it.
Blah,
Period.
blah, blah, blah.
I don't understand why are you even coming in and debating on a topic which is absolutely open and shut thing. Kamru was talking about, there cannot be encroachment of land in and around 5 kilometers of temple. Do you know the condition of satras and the satra land? They have been nibbled away by illegal migrants for decades and decades. Now you have a responsive government only because the Assam's indigenous people decided that they've had it enough. They've had it enough for all these decades when they were, they showcase their humane side and allow unadulterated kind of infiltration coming in from Bangladesh, which completely changed the tone and tenor and texture of their demography. Shut up, Tawseef, I'm speaking.
Okay. Let him.
The-
Please, let's
the
not
way
speak.
of child marriage
Now,
act,
one
blah,
minute.
blah,
Let's
blah.
not
The way
let's not get
indigenous
personal
people-
and let's not
the
speak
way
over each other.
indigenous
Prohibition
people-
of child
Rahul,
marriage
the
act
way
is the
indigenous
question.
Mr.
people-
Khan, I'll allow you
the
to
way-
rebut him. Why don't you just let him speak? He never interfered.
The way
Yeah.
you go out and speak to the micro minorities of Assam, they feel that they'll end up in museums. That is the level of insecurity, the micro minorities, the tribes of Assam, and there are varied number of tribes. There are 30, 40 odd medium level tribes and hundreds of small tribes who are at the verge of extinction. And that is the genuine cause of concern, existential concern that they have. And if they want to safeguard their ways of life, their ways of culture, their ways of
Okay,
worship,
so let me
what
ask.
is the problem if you want to secure the land in and around Satra lands?
Okay, let me
So
ask,
this
Mr.
is just
Chaudhary, do we have a
very
problem?
predictable reaction, Rahul.
Do we have a problem with the UCC in Assam? Do we have a problem?
Well, let me answer Rajat Sethi's first fundamental question, if you permit me. Then I will come back to you.
I wish you would sometimes answer me also with that equanimity.
Sir,
You
because
never
that's
answer
a very,
me.
very
Anyhow.
important
Okay.
disinformation that you wanted to place out through your channel.
Okay.
Himanta Biswa Sarma and people like Rajat Sethi, they will say that the Muslim population will overtake the Hindu population by 2041. That's a stated fact from the CM Smith. And he will compare 1951 census along with 2011 census. The most important part out of this is that after 1951, the states of Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, all came out from Assam, which were essentially non-Muslim states, which they were Christian states. So naturally, the population of Assam, which was counted
No.
together
Now let's not. Look, there is TFR
wait.
data. There is also the Muslim growth rate. It is much higher. At least.
Now coming to
No,
the
one
main
second.
question
Now,
that
let's not
Rajat
muddle up
Sethi-
the issue.
No, you come next. Let me just finish Rajat Sethi. When he says that the satras are in danger because of the illegal migrants, my simple question out here: when the National Registered Citizen exercise was carried out, all those people who have found their residence to be perfectly in order with the Indian laws and citizenship laws, 20 lakh people have failed that. Now, where does the illegal migrants come in? Just that because they happen to be so-called Mias of Bangladesh? How do you prove that they were illegal migrants? If I say Rajat Sethi is an illegal migrant, will he not file a case against me? is not against
No,
his
Mr. Chaudhary,
self-esteem.
why are we going down these rabbit holes?
So
The
it's
point
a-
is
no, no,
tonight,
these
no,
are
no, the
not the
point
rabbit
tonight
holes.
is about
These
laws
people needs to be
which
called
are
out.
reformist in nature and the opposition to reform. Let's stick to all of this. All of the other stuff that you're bringing in sounds a little bit to me like a very convenient attempt to divert the topic. No, we should come back to the topic, viewers. Rajat Sethi, you want to come in? Abhijit Iyer, Mitra, I want to bring you in next. Mr. Khan is also raising his hand. Yes.
The society of Assam is going through a flux. It requires certain amount of guided course correction, wherein all communities can coexist in a setup which is rights of
Okay, we are
all
having a problem
population
with your
requires a
audio.
uniform civil code.
It's not
It
coming
requires-
through. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, it's clearing up. Yes.
So essentially, what I'm trying to say is that having a uniform civil code, having a sort of a framework where all of the population, a very diverse set of population, can coexist
Okay,
together.
so
is the need of
UCC is
our
the
time.
answer. Very quickly. Yes, Mr. Abhijit Mitra, I'll come back to Mr. Chaudhary on that question which he didn't answer, taking us down a rabbit hole. Yes, Mr. Mitra.
So Rahul, they will only take you down the rabbit hole. The problem out here is none of them will actually tell you why banning child marriages is anti-Muslim. They'll just say, why are you targeting us for it? When the majority of child marriages are Hindus. Okay. Now, if it isn't, so then what is your objection to it? If the majority of child marriages are Hindu and it comes under the criminal code, what is your problem with it? How does it become Islamophobic?
And communal.
That's
Mr. Khan, how does it become communal and Islamophobic? What's the big deal?
Yes, because neither Mr. Mitra nor Mr. Sethi has acknowledged yet, even spoken a word out about it, that there is already a central law from pre-British era, and which was amended in 2006, Prohibition of Child Marriage Act. It applies to the whole territory of India, which includes Assam as well. Therefore, when you already have a law, why are you bluffing the people by saying
Mr.
that
Khan,
bringing a reform?
bigamy is
No, this
also a
this
criminal
has-
offense.
Mr.
Hang on.
Khan,
No.
Bigamy is also a
The
criminal
stated
offense.
object.
No, one
the
second.
stated
Bigamy is
object-
also,
No,
is
I'm
not
finished,
bigamy
Rahul.
a,
I'm
no,
not-
hang on, let me ask
is
you this.
unfair. This is not fair, Rahul. You are
Chalo,
interfering
theek hai.
me. You are
Theek hai,
interrupting
theek hai.
me.
Boliye,
You see,
boliye.
the stated object of the chief minister is that I want to abolish child marriage act, but he is silent that there is already a law.
So let me quickly
Therefore,
ask
this
you,
becomes
Mr.
a question,
Tausif
a
Khan,
natural-
is there
natural
bigamy?
question it exposes
Is bigamy a
hypocrisy.
punishment?
That
Is
the
bigamy-
actual target are
Mr.
Muslims
Khan,
to-
is
to-
bigamy
to
a
try
punishment?
to
Is bigamy a
abolish the
punishment
Qazis.
under the law?
His enmity is with the Qazi.
Okay.
The
They don't
Qazis
want
who
to
have
hear my
been
question.
registering the
There is no
marriages
enmity
and
with
divorces
anybody, sir. Let me
lawfully.
quickly bring in.
About the Mumbai High Court, they don't want to talk about the Punjab and Haryana High Court.
Are
Both
Baba,
of them held
Mumbai
that
is not.
Muslims
Mumbai is
under
in
the age can
Maharashtra.
marry.
Mumbai
It
is
is
in
now-
Maharashtra.
now it
The
is now under-
Guwahati
it is
High
now
Court
under
is
the
in
Supreme Court.
Assam.
It is being reviewed by the Supreme Court.
That's right.
I
No,
have said it
I just want to
repeatedly
ask a
now, that
fundamental
nobody-
question.
Tausif deliberately doesn't want to hear it.
Yes,
You see,
so there are
because
two
both-
questions.
So this is why.
Should
When
we move
you-
towards a UCC in Assam? Number one, Mr. Chaudhary, you need to now respond to my question. Should we move to a UCC? But before that, Mr. Mitra, I just want to ask you, is bigamy not universally in this country a crime?
It is not. Technically, you can become a Muslim and marry a second woman.
That's right. So technically, if you change your faith, viewers, in fact, you've answered my question. You can marry as many times, 4 times. So for everyone else, viewers, bigamy is a crime, but not for one community. Why? Why? So yes, viewers, yes, there is a law that prohibits child marriage, but some communities invoke exceptions under that law because it is supposed to be part of a custom. There are others also, horrible other practices. I don't want to go down that route. They would be actually banned under the criminal laws of this country, but exceptions are made. Now, how is that a secular country? Why, for instance, doesn't the Indian Constitution have an establishment clause? It doesn't, viewers, even though Dr. Ambedkar introduced it, the final copy did not have it. Why, viewers? You have to start researching this question. The Establishment Clause, like the Americans have, would have made it very clear that the state would have nothing to do with religion. But viewers, we didn't have one because the state actually wanted to do things with religion. Codify one set of personal laws but not the others. So they gave themselves this little room to play this game where you could appease one community and punish the other. And that's how it's gone along, viewers. Now, Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma wants to bring in a UCC. Kamru Chaudhary, should we bring in a UCC?
Now, Rahul, you are falling contempt of the Prime Minister out here. It's no longer.
Now you see, now viewers, it's become contempt of the Prime Minister.
It's secular civil code.
Every country, every state is allowed, viewers, to come up with their UCC. Himanta Biswa Sarma has said we will be the third state. So I'm asking you, Mr. Chaudhary,
Yes.
if Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma tomorrow introduces the UCC in the assembly, would you be a supporter of it, yes or no?
No, never.
No,
because
never.
it infringes
So-
my rights that is guaranteed under the Constitution.
Yes. Now, what are these rights, viewers? To claim exceptions.
because-
to claim
no,
exceptions.
no,
you
no,
want
no.
your exceptions.
To
You
right
want
to
your
practice
little.
my
No. You
religion.
want your little
You
allowances.
Right to practice my own religion, and nobody in this
Right.
world, however bigot he can be,
So viewers,
cannot interfere with
yes,
my
cannot
religious
interfere.
practice.
Now comes the truth. Now comes the truth. We will be exceptions to the rule. Now, viewers, how does that work
Himanta,
in a country that promises in the preamble that it is secular?
You removed 370 from Kashmir,
There you
but
go.
you are bringing in
No, don't bring in 370 and all that. I'm asking you about UCC very clearly. Why not a UCC in Assam? Why will you not support it if you're so in favor of having equal laws, everyone treated equally? Why not the
How did
UCC?
you get your registered marriage? How did you register your marriage? A very personal question I'm asking you. How did you register? On
Sir,
the
I went to court.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the notice period out there?
Sir, 1 month.
Now, Himanta Biswa Sarma is bringing a 6 months notice
It doesn't
period.
matter. The point
No, why
is whether
doesn't
it is
matter?
1 month or 6
Why
months or
doesn't
3
it
months.
matter?
I'm
This is
asking
the-
you.
I
I'm
am
asking
trying
you.
to
Should we
project
not have a
my mind.
UCC? Should we not have a UCC?
I'm trying to project the mental state of this chief minister
no,
out
you are
here.
trying to-
That
you are
his
trying
whole
to-
agenda is bigotry.
This is gaslighting, viewers.
says
Complete
everybody.
gaslighting. To use a phrase that Chaudhary Saab used a few days ago.
Muslim,
Yes,
that's
Ayyar
why-
Mitra wants to come in. Mr. Mitra
That's
wants
why
to
there
come
is
in.
a
6 months for everybody, Kamru.
Exactly.
Yes or no?
Lower Assam to visit Upper Assam.
Is it 6 months for everybody?
Absolutely it is.
Kamru, simple. I want the answer from Kamru. Kamru, is it 6 months for everybody?
I don't know because I never
I don't
went
know.
in.
I don't know.
Why don't you read him the clause? Why don't you read him the clause?
Sharia law.
Viewers, you see, this
Registered
proves
under
the
the
point.
Sharia.
This proves the point that I began with. And let me quickly recap that point that I began with, a series of questions. Can a country be truly secular when religious laws of a few denominations are allowed to hold sway over and above the Constitution? Can, for instance, men of one community be allowed to marry 4 women because their religion allows it, whereas the practice is banned for men of all other communities? Would such exceptionalism on religious grounds be tolerated in a truly secular country where the state maintains an equal distance from all faiths? Viewers, the answer is no. The question is, when someone wants to do that reform, why is he being shouted down? Why is he being called all sorts of names? Fundamental question, I'll park it with you. You've heard all the other views. You can reason this out for yourself. It's not too tough, viewers.